Hey hey!
Olá!
Today we're going to be taking a look at and giving our first impressions for the fantastic mythology-themed game, The Vale of Eternity.
The Vale of Eternity is a 2 to 4 player self-contained card and tableau building game published by Mandoo Games in 2023. The game is designed by Eric Hong and features artwork from Jiahui Gautier Maia, Stefano Martinuz, and Tormen. The game has a suggested playtime of between 30 to 45 minutes and play consists of multiple rounds, each divided into 3 phases. The hunt phase, where all players will first choose 2 cards in turns. The action phase, where players complete various actions from summoning cards into your area or selling cards for magic stones. And the resolution phase, where players will use any active effects found on played cards. Play continues until the end of the game is triggered by passing 60 points or at the end of the 10th round. The player with the most points wins.
In the box you'll find 1 game board, 1 scoreboard, which also helps keep track of what round you're currently on, 42 magic stones, comprising of 16 red, 14 blue, and 12 purple stones, 70 unique cards, each with a unique mythical creature illustration and ability, purple, green, black, and grey player pieces for individual player markers, score markers, and a player tile to indicate when you've passed 60 points, 1 round marker, 1 first player marker, and an Eternity standee figure. The quality of this game seems very good and surpassed what we had expected based on the price we got it for. The cards all feature unique illustrations and have a linen finish. The magic stones and boards are of a good thickness, and the wooden player pieces feel nice to hold. The rulebook is of a good quality, and we had no problems learning how to play from it, with good example illustrations to help better understand how the actions work. Everything fits back together in a nicely illustrated box, with a cardboard insert to keep the playing cards organized from the rest of the pieces. It came with 1 plastic bag for the wooden pieces, but we further split the components into smaller bags for the individual player colors and magic stones. This is a really cool game.
We first saw it in videos coming out of Essen last year, and we loved the look of it.
Ooh, yes, that's right. Whenever other folks did their vlogs around the halls, this one always stood out to us.
The art style is really pretty, cute mythological creatures from all over the world.
I fell in love with it after the first play and immediately wanted to play more. And we actually did, on Board Game Arena the next day, just to try and to perhaps help us in writing our thoughts here. The game plays fine on Board Game Arena and works, but this is one of those that I really just prefer with the physical copy.
Yeah, online to me was a bit meh. There's the hovering over the cards to see what they do, it shows the possible things you can do at every turn, but to me this is a game to play the physical copy.
The production quality on this game is really nice, and for the price range we've seen it for, seems very good value for the money. Learning the game was surprisingly easy. I thought it would be trickier to get into than it was, and I like that about it. It means it'll be an easy teach when we introduce it to friends.
Yes, it looked more complex than it is, but it's quite simple to understand how it plays.
And while easy to learn, there is a lot of depth here, with 70 unique cards, each with varying abilities. Tracking the randomization of drawing cards and each player taking turns to choose what cards they want makes this game seem perfectly replayable.
Yes, there is a lot of replayability. We played just the 2 of us, and we didn't even use half of the cards. And there is a lot to consider in your turn. You have a limit in the number of cards that you can play in your area. That is defined by the round number, so in the first round you can only have 1 summon monster in your tableau. In the second round, you can only have 2 summon monsters, and so on.
Yeah, I love the systems in this game. Limiting how many cards you can summon to the round number you're on is very clever. It makes you think a bit more tactically about what to summon and when.
Another thing to consider in your turn is the summoning cost and the fact that you can only have a maximum of 4 magic stones. and whenever you pay for a summon, you don't receive change if you overpay. So you have to be mindful of your actions, plan in advance, and try to optimize your strategy.
The limit on magic stones was really interesting and fun to play with. I thought it would be an annoying limitation at first, but it plays very nicely into the flow of the game.
Another thing to consider in your turn is the family of the card.
Yes, there are 5 families: Fire, Water, Earth, Wind, and Dragon. Dragons are the most powerful of the 5 and have a higher summoning cost to match.
And the last thing to consider is the effect of each card, that can be of 3 types: immediate, at the end of each round, or throughout the game. I like that there are some limiting factors. It makes it more challenging, you have to manage your game better to pull your strategy off.
In the action phase, there are 4 actions available: Sell, Tame, Summon, or Remove a card. While the removing a card ability isn't one we've done yet, it's interesting because it's also tied to the round number, making it more expensive to carry out the later you are into the game, which I find interesting because it makes you think about what cards you really want to leave out in your area.
And again, you have limited stones, you still want to play other cards that are in your hand, and that action of removing a card might not be beneficial for your strategy. The components are of a really good quality. The wooden first player token is a very nice touch to the game. The cards are nice to play with too, and the magic stones are of good thickness. And for the price of the game, we could not have asked for more. They have done a great job of it. There is the standee that we don't really know if we are going to use or not, because at least on the base game it is not necessary.
Yeah, the standee, while cool, doesn't actually serve any function. Even in the rulebook, they say it's basically there to make the photos look pretty. We had it laid down in our game, as you can see here. I think it would actually just get in the way a bit, especially if we had it properly assembled, because with the circular board we need to see and take cards from around it. But we'll see.
It feels very thematic, especially on the effects of the monsters, which are related with their family or their features or powers. The rulebook was very good, I should say. It had lots of examples and explanations.
Yep, it's a fantastic rulebook. It didn't take long to learn the game at all, and for the most part we went into playing it without any problems.
I really like it at 2 players, but I am not sure how it would be at 3 or 4. Just because there is a downtime while one player is taking their turn, and in one's turn the person can do many things and that time can be dragged a bit. The interaction between players is more indirect and is not confrontational, even at 2 players.
This was a pleasant surprise to me actually. I don't know why I assumed it would be more of a card battler situation, where you're fighting the other player's cards. But actually it's just a race to have the most points, and there isn't too much negative confrontation.
I think that this is a game that would be easily taught to new gamers, and it is still enjoyable for more experienced gamers.
I agree, we fall into the side of being new to card games like this, but I'm really glad we got to try this self-contained experience.
To be fair, we did try it because it's a self-contained game. We are not fans of the idea of ever-expanding games, that you have to buy more and more cards to the game.
So that wraps up our video on the Vale of Eternity, a cute and thematic tableau building card game for 2 to 4 players. As mentioned previously, this game is available on Board Game Arena. I believe it's part of the premium package. So if you have the option, it's a good place to try it out if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. We've been Board Game Beans.
You've been you.
Have a lovely day and
Happy gaming.